Okay, I'm probably going to get some dislikes on this, but I don't care. How smart is Rick Hendrick? Well, apparently pretty smart. And I know there's anti-Hendrick people out there, and frankly I used to be, but I've never denied being, since I started this channel and doing this NASCAR vlog stuff, and I was a Dale Earnhardt fan originally, and of course Dale Jr. came along, and it was just natural progression, I guess. And frankly, I wasn't always big on Rick Hendrick. In fact, at one time, I called Hendrick Motorsports convicted felon motorsports, to be honest with you. Back in the days that before Dale Jr. went to him. But I've come to really respect what he's done and some of the decisions he's made. Now, the deal with the cars, which, by the way, he has been pardoned. Used cars is a cutthroat business, and any car dealership. I think Bruton Smith, from what I understand, had some trouble in that too. But let's go all the way back to 1983. The first time a Hendrick car showed up to test at Charlotte, well, Jeff Bodine was his original driver. But Jeff Bodine wasn't driving it. Team preparing for the '84 season. Dale Earnhardt was. Big E. I did a vlog on this. I have a feeling Rick Hendrick was courting Dale Earnhardt, who did not like Fords, was driving for Bud Moore at the time, of course, wound up continuing his Hall of Fame career with Richard Childress the next year. He also, at one time, was trying to sign Richard Petty. Again, Earnhardt had the Wrangler sponsorship that followed him back then. Petty had the STP sponsorship, so he was trying, even back then, to sign a driver with a sponsor, which is kind of way ahead of its time. Nowadays, if you got a sponsor, you can get a ride in one of NASCAR's top series. Case in point, John West Townley, and frankly, Paul Menard would not be, although he did win the Brickyard on fuel mileage, I don't think he'd be full-time in a caliber Cup car he's in without his family's money behind him. But so be it. Another time, Rick Hendrick, and ironically, Rick Hendrick used to have a team manager or somebody high up in the team. The man has passed away, sadly, named Jimmy Johnson. Completely different Jimmy Johnson. Jeff Gordon was driving the Baby Ruth car, Ford, for Bill Davis in the old Busch Grand National Series, or Busch Series. Well, Hendrick was under the assumption he was under contract to Ford. Well, Jimmy Johnson told him, the other Jimmy Johnson, not to be confused with the obvious first ballot Hall of Famer when he's eligible, the sixth time and maybe more champ. No, he's not. Rick Hendrick said sign him. Darrell Waltrip told him during Jeff Gordon's first season, Rick, he'll never work out. He's wrecked too many cars. Rick Hendrick stuck with him. Obvious another first ballot winding up his Hall of Fame career this year. There's more. Of course, he signed Dale Earnhardt Jr., which, I mean, they've had some good and some bad runs. Won 4 races last year. Already won a race this year. But he's pretty smart compared to, and like I say, I wasn't always a Hendrick person. In fact, like I say, I called him convicted felon motorsports, to be quite honest with you. But I've just come to respect him so much. And I know I'm going to get the haters. I don't care. You can hate. I mean, I got a comment on the Rich Kid Driver vlogs. Says the guy wearing a Dale Jr. hat. Well, so be it. But I've noticed Rick Hendrick hasn't really went after the rich kids so much. The Menards and some of them that bring their own money with them. But hiring Casey Kane looked like a good move. Of course, brought Jimmy Johnson up and really started the big in the multi-car teams, whichever everyone tries to do. Roush was at one time up to 5 teams before NASCAR stepped in and said 4's the limit. But He's really an innovator, believe it or not. And of course, you can see him on Barrett. If you ever watch Barrett Jackson auction, he's under a band of cars. But I'd say he's pretty smart. That's just my opinion for what it's worth.